Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Now today's video is going to be more of a serious video. We're going to talk about shift talk. Now you might be wondering what shift talk is. Shift talk is a trend going on TikTok where you write some sort of script and you enter a dreamlike state, much like lucid dreaming. However, most report they can enter and actually do and go wherever they wrote down in their script. So say, for example, that you wanted to go to France. You would write down, like, a script. So, like, I insert name here, took a plane to France. I spent 15 years amongst the French, and I learned how to speak the French. And I talked to a French baker, and asked for a baguette in French. I said, "Hello, Mr. Baker, can I have une baguette?" You know? Then you could actually go and do it. Now, for those of us who are more educated, this sounds exactly like lucid dreaming. Now, basically what lucid dreaming is, well, you get to do whatever you want. You're self-aware in your dream. That's pretty much what lucid dreaming is. You can feel, hear, and see everything and control yourself in certain cases. Now, some people, if you practice hard enough, can actually wake yourself up from a lucid dream. I've done it before, and it can be pretty trippy, not gonna lie. Telling yourself, hey, wake up, and then you wake up. Now, that's just a light description of what lucid dreaming is. This drift talk, there have been rumors that if you write down numbers on your arm or on a piece of paper or wherever, that you could actually enter this dreamlike state faster and better. Now, we'll get into these in a little bit, but they are linked to satanic and devilish cultish things. However, I'll cover that later in the video. Now, whatever you want to do, it isn't my place to tell you how to live your life. All I'm trying to do is educate the masses. Without further ado though, let's actually get into this video. First off, I would like to elaborate a little bit on what is actually going on with Shift Talk. It is a subgroup of users on the popular social media app known as TikTok. There are several things that allegedly go on when you shift or enter your dreamlike status. But first I'll explain what it is. Shifting is where you go into your DR, as it has been dubbed, or your desired reality, as what DR stands for. Now, you can do this in different ways, but most do it by writing down scripts of sorts, and then making a quote-unquote movie out of it. Now, when they're done, when they go to sleep or they enter a dreamlike status, they can actually hear, see, talk, and do whatever. Now, to put this into more words, like what is actually going on, it feels, from what studies have shown, as if you had 5 months to do a project, and it was a big project, but you waited until 3 days. So you drink a lot of like coffee or energy drinks, and that 3 days actually blows by and feels like it was only about 12 hours. Now that 3 days actually blows by and it feels like it was like 12 days. Your brain goes through some type of psychosis. This psychosis could be caused by deprivation, information overload, stress, trauma, or just being overwhelmed with your current situation. At least according to Healthline. Zoning out during the daytime could be a good thing. It can boost your creativity and help solve problems more efficiently. However, every good thing has its bad. If you were to zone out or enter your DR, as I will refer to it, in an unsafe environment, that could lead to serious injuries or death in some cases. Now, this is like super bad because if you're working on say for example, a construction site or whatever, you have to be alert on construction sites 24/7. Because if something is, like if a steel beam is falling from a high-rise building, you need to be able to be alert and know, hey, I should probably move, or else I'm going to die. Same thing for if you're walking near a subway or near a train, if you're at a train station. You might not notice it because your brain actually goes into some sort of like autopilot mode where all it knows to do is go from point A to point B, and it will do that however it so pleases because it doesn't matter. It is actually your mind that is like, hey, I feel vibrations in the ground, I hear a train horn in the background. Oh, hey, I see a train track. I should avoid that. That way, I don't get run over. Now, you all may be thinking, well, Glitch, that doesn't sound bad at all. In fact, it can be good. Uh, which you said yourself. And I must say, you are correct, Mr. Viewer. But people are taking it to a new level in which they don't know what they're actually doing, including signing up for a cult. Now, it's not really signing up for a cult, but let's get into paragraph 2. Now, let me give you a quick history lesson about grabovoy, as I pronounced it completely correct in Russian. Now, this is a sick and twisted man. He's also an anti-Semitic. Now, some of you might not know what that is, so let me read the definition real quick. The definition of one is anti-Semitic is hostility to, prejudice, or discrimination against Jews. A person who holds such positions is called anti-Semitic. Anti-Semitism is considered to be a form of racism. He led people to believe that just writing down codes or numbers in a journal, as long as you had good intentions, you could do just about anything. Now, here's a quick disclaimer. The video is about to take a very sharp, curve down, horrific lane. If you guys do want to continue watching, be my guest. But if you guys don't, then, you don't have to. However, if you do want to skip to the third part of the video, then go ahead. However, it will take a dark turn from here. Now, this man is a Russian fraudster. He told women of murdered children that if they were to write the string of numbers down and use a few crystals, it would bring back their children. If this doesn't make your blood boil, I swear, I don't know what will. These grabovoy numbers, or grabovoy codes, are known as nothing less than cheat codes, for the universe itself. So, it was a lazy man's out, except for the fact that there are no studies that this actually worked. So you might be saying to your screen, well, Glitch, how is this bad? Why should we care? Well, the man who actually made these codes is a cultist owner. He markets himself as the living manifestation of Christ. However, that isn't the worst part, as he preyed on already beaten souls of victims I'm gonna pronounce this so wrong, but when the Chechen separatists attacked a Russian school, killing over 170 students in 2004, I want you to put yourself in the shoes of the parents and victims of that. Now, you're a mother and father, and your child is killed in a terrible massacre, and somebody comes along and says, I can resurrect your child for $1,500 for each child that I resurrect. However, you have to pay me before I do it. I would be skeptical, but I would do anything to bring my child back. And that's what a lot of parents did. Now, there isn't an exact estimate or a total of how much money he actually scammed out of these poor parents. But what I will say is that it is sick and twisted. Now, after he did that, he ran around the town of Beslan. He was forming something that resembled a cult, based on his divine healing powers, and making himself known as the second coming of Christ. Thankfully, he was arrested by Russian authorities, and he was sentenced to only 11 years. Wait, only 11? Did I read that right? Only 11 years? Did I write the... No, I didn't. What the heck, Russia? That is such a... Why? Like, Russia, come on, bro. Now, he only actually served 3 years, getting out in 2010 and disappearing. Now, how you could sentence a man to only 11 years after he scammed parents, saying that he could bring them back from the dead, I don't know. And how he could only serve 3, I don't know. Now, there was then a book listed a couple years later after he disappeared on Amazon containing his quote-unquote codes. Now, whether this is someone looking to make bank off the evil man's doings or not, it is still a mystery. However, there is still a group of mothers in Russia who believe in his quote-unquote technology. However, you and I know it's probably false. Well, you might be saying now, though, well, Glitch, didn't you call him anti-Semitic, though? And to you loyal and frankly kinda crazy viewer yelling at a screen, yes, let's get into that now. Over the years, he had said that Jewish elites were the cause of all world issues. He also said that he would ban death after being elected as Russia's next president. Now, as we know, Putin, Russia's current president, that man's never going to be out of office. Or it's just going to go down his bloodline. But I digress. Now, many speculate that this was the actual legal reason he was arrested. Now, you guys might be like, well, isn't scamming a bunch of people, like, enough to be arrested in Russia? And to that, I say it depends, because if he had them sign a contract and there was fine print saying this may or may not work, then, unfortunately, he could get away with it, whether it did or didn't work. Now, many were fine with the moral reason of he scammed a bunch of innocent and beaten people already. These codes developed by grabovoy. Now, these codes are actually based on some sort of science. They're based on the theory that all people and life forms share a common ground through electromagnetic fields. Of the Earth, we are all connected. So basically, he's saying that everything is connected through an electromagnetic field. And we're all kind of, connected to that, and we're connected to the Earth. In this case, radionic is defined as the metaphysical science of local and distant manifestation using intention-programmed instruments and patterns to amplify, store, and evaluate subtle frequencies of the animate and inanimate form. Now, this guy wasn't the incarnation of Jesus or manifestation of Jesus. I do believe, though, that he is the manifestation or incarnation of pure evil. But on a different note, writing these codes do nothing except leave a stain on your arm. After writing them, what's the main issue with it? As you might be wondering. Now, dear viewer, is when I say there isn't much harm that actually comes from it. Well, you are supporting, quote-unquote, an evil man. There's no doubting that he's an evil man, but if you don't know what you're doing, does that make you any worse or better than him? Now, most don't actually know the evil that comes from these numbers and the man who wrote them. So, as we wrap this video up, I have a question for you guys. If someone you love dearly needed, for example, medication, or they would die, and you couldn't afford it, say you wouldn't get caught or go to jail, would you rob a pharmacy? No one would be there, so no one would get hurt in the actual break-in. No alarms would sound, no cops, just a quick in-and-out job. You would have never been there, in theory. There were no cameras, you would never get caught, as you were never seen. Wouldn't you do it? Now, most would say yes, But now if somebody else needed it, and they could actually pay for it, and the pharmacy didn't have it, then that means if they needed it for the same reason, you essentially just took a life without even being conscious of yourself taking a life. So, while this may not go against any morals that you may have because you didn't know that somebody needed it, somebody else needed that medication, it will still be a bad thing that you did. It's still a bad thing, but you weren't aware of yourself doing it. So no one can really blame you. Now, while that might not have been the best metaphor, I'm gonna wrap up the video here. This video was actually super interesting to research, and I kind of want to do more videos like this, except this next time, I want to do a more happy type of video, because this was quite honestly kind of depressing, not going to lie, reading all of this. It kind of actually disturbed me, and I left a lot of details out, as I don't really want to scar anybody. But all of my sources will be in the description below, along with my Discord, my Twitch. So, if you guys did like, make sure to sub and like the video. Share the video if you find it interesting and you have a friend who might find it interesting. And yeah, other than that, give me topics to research next, and I'll research them. I will literally research just about anything. Other than that, guys, I'll see you guys in the next one. This has been Glitch. As always, cheers.